Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds podcast. On this episode, we'll be finishing up our conversation with Mr. John Hoehner. Again, it was such an honor to record with him, and I know he looks like they had a pretty good weekend up there at the, I hope I say this name right, Osmond Fox Hunters Hunt, the FHA, up there in Illinois. So, excuse me. Looked like they had a really good weekend. It was an honor to be joined by them, and I hope y'all enjoyed the first part. I know y'all are going to like this second part. So before we get rocking and rolling into this, let's go ahead and keep up with what we've been doing. Want to do our inspirational quote. This one is from Walt Disney. All your dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. I just thought that was really neat, really good. And then our Bible verse for this week is going to be from Isaiah 41:10, and that would be, oh Lord, it's been screwed up on me. Y'all forgive me for a second. I'm slacking over here. I change my pages around a little bit sometimes, and when I do that, it definitely makes things go a little wonky. So Isaiah 41:10 is, "Don't fear, because I am with you. Don't be afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, and I will surely help you. I will hold you with my righteous strong hand." And again, that's Isaiah 41:10. So I believe that kind of leads us into this week. We got a few things to talk about later in the episode after this recording is done, and I think y'all will enjoy. So I won't hold y'all up anymore. All right, here we go. Cast the Hounds. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hounds podcast. The Hounds podcast is proud to partner with Outdoor Dog Supply again for the 2025 season. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online garment sales with their world-class trade-in programs. These guys are not just a business, they're also houndsmen and women too. They test their products out in the field and really put them to the test. Get the latest in garment equipment, stay locked and ready with field trial equipment, collars, leashes, and so much more. Visit their website today at outdoordogsupply.com, and we want to thank Outdoor Dog Supply for their support not only for the podcast, but in the field trials across the country. When you're looking for your next purchase and equipment, keep Outdoor Dog Supply in mind. Now let's get this episode started, guys. Thank y'all so much. Oh, you've mentioned Slinger a few times. What was his background?
Slinger was a lot like Geronimo, maybe even a better dog.
No kidding.
Yep. He was probably the best dog one of the best I've ever owned.
Okay.
And I mean, Slinger was the type that he was classy and you couldn't hurt him. Mm-hmm. I could run that dog every day and condition him, and that's how he beat a lot of dogs.
Right.
People would say, "Oh, that dog's getting faster." Well, he wasn't getting faster. He just didn't slow down. He was one of them that would outrun you the first hour. I mean, I've won 3-hour hunts with him by 500 points.
Wow.
I mean, he could outrun you there, and like I said, he was tireless. You couldn't hurt him. And then you could run him in them 3 days, and I don't know. I sure wish I'd trade everything I got for him right now.
No kidding.
2 years old.
What was that old phrase in Days of Thunder? I'm not going faster; they're just going slower.
That's right. Well, he was just a gifted dog. A guy actually come down here and bred his mama to old Slide.
Okay.
And Wells's Breeze is what she was, and I think she's out of Carr's Black John.
Okay.
But anyway, I had a Jip out of old Slide I called Lori. Mm-hmm. And she was a good Jip. I mean, outstanding pup. But they'd had some puppy hunts up here, and Slinger wasn't but about, I don't know, they was 10 months old probably.
Okay.
And I told that old boy, I said, "Now, I know you want to breed that Jip, but I said, if you want rid of them pups, I said, I'd like to have them."
Right.
And he was a man of his words,
Yeah.
But anyway, we got up there, and I'd been really practicing with that little Lori Jip, and she was a nice Jip, but she just didn't take running like I like one to. But had one of them good mouths, and they had that puppy hunt up there, and he had old Slinger. Of course, Slinger was just a big old fat pup, and he didn't run one like I did. And we went up there, and they had that puppy hunt, and I won that hunt with Lori.
Right.
And I'd seen that dog, the hunters judged. They paired up.
Hmm.
And I
Yep.
seen Flinger there the first time I ever seen that dog run. I told my buddy, I said, what the heck is that? He said, well, that's out of your old dog. He said, that's that puppy his. I said, that puppy is? Yeah, he said, that's out of old Breeze and an old Slide.
No kidding.
I said, dang. And I never said nothing. Anyway, when I seen that dog right then, he just kind of like a little toy at the store. I had to have that dog. I done knew what was going to happen. So anyway, I won the hunt, and I think that dog placed third or fourth.
Right.
This old boy that had him's a good guy. Mike St. Ledger was his name, and
Okay.
still lives, good fella.
Yeah.
But anyway, we showed them dogs after the thing was over, and I stood that Jip up, and I had her broke the show, and boy, I had her muscled up. I told old Mike, and he was sitting there getting ready to take his picture. I said, hey, I tell you what I'd do with you. I said, if you decide you want to move up a little bit, I said, I'd trade you that Jip right there for your dog. Oh, heck no. He said, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I said, okay. 3 weeks later, they have the same hunt.
Right.
Same results. I'm up there, and I told him, I said, now, Mike, I said, I know you're a smart man. I said, I know you're getting tired of being beat. He said, yeah. I seen him looking a little longer this time.
You
I
got the
told him,
wheels
I said,
turning.
Yeah, I said, Mike, I said, I'd hate to do it. I said, this is 2 in a row. But I said, now, it's going to be your last chance. I said, if you want to swap that dog for this Jip, I said, I'll trade you. No. Well, I started home. My phone rang. It was him. I just pulled in the driveway. He said, I tell you what, he said, I know I shouldn't do it, but he said, if you want to swap that Jip for that dog, he said, just come back up here and get him.
Come on,
I
get
told
him.
my buddy, I said, turn this truck around. I didn't even come in the house. But I got him in, and they had a hunt about 3 weeks later up there, and I won the hunt with him.
No.
That was the last time him getting beat. But, you know, a lot of people just don't know what they're looking at, I guess, and then they ain't willing to put the time in and make
Right.
the dog be what it's got to be.
What,
And I'm the type that I'm going to, when I see one got talent like that thing had, I mean,
Yeah.
he just hit the ground easy, big, flashy, could run that cow, you know, that cow would turn, and that dog never missed that thing a lick. You know,
Right.
I thought, man.
Now,
And
now
that's the way it was all his life. That dog
this, so was the guy that you got him from there when you turned around and won?
yeah. Yeah.
What'd he
Yeah.
say?
He never said nothing. He just kicked rocks and walked off. I think he's really been kind of mad at me ever since, but I like him. He's a heck of a good guy and a good dog, man. And when he sold out, I ended up going up there getting his sisters and some more of them and done good with them dogs, too.
Right. I got you.
That was a good litter of dogs and good-looking dogs.
Yeah. What you know, I haven't got to ask you this question. What kind of coloring you like on your dogs? Or I know it doesn't matter, but you know.
Yeah, I'm just like anybody else. I want the best looking one I can find, and I don't know. I guess basically when I start picking puppies, I want a good dog, or not a good but outstanding dog and Jip before I breed anything. That's what I breed.
That's right.
And they're still lucky to get what I want, you know.
Yeah.
And I'll pick them mainly a color, you know.
Yeah.
I like a blanket back ringneck dog or something, you know, got a little white where you can black it. That black with white numbers is hard to beat.
Yeah.
But I like a dog with a flashy tail. You know, a lot of these modern dogs, I call them, they run with their dang tail looks like a damn pencil straight out behind them. You can't even tell. They kind of look like cur dogs, a lot of them.
That's right. Yeah.
And I like a big, strong, good-looking dog. I want him, when you see him, I want you to be able to remember seeing him.
Yep. Like a foxhound's supposed to look.
Yep.
Yep.
But I got a little old exercising pen here, and if I keep them up, you know, I'll sell a lot of puppies, you know, and you can get the best one I got, because a lot of times I just pick for color.
Right.
But now if I put them out there in that exercising pen, and it joins my other pen, and I like to watch them, you know, if they don't have no ability, I don't care how they can run something, I'm not going to keep them.
That's right.
You know, if that dog don't move to suit me, I can train him to run something, but I can't make an athlete out of him if he ain't.
That's right. 100%. And a lot of people don't understand what you're talking about there. You know, it's how to look, you know.
Well, it's just kind of like the bench show. You know, people make a bench show harder than what it really is.
Right.
You have rules and points and regulations, And if them dogs is actually judged like they need to be, and you breed that style of dog with the breeding that it's got to be, them dogs are made that way, and they'll take running better than these little old. I don't know. I say their both front legs come out of the same hole, and
Yep.
droopy butt and all that.
Right.
A lot
Right.
of that's our own. It's our own fault that dogs don't look like they need to look anymore.
That's it. That's it. I know. It's one of the best things I've ever heard was Chris Powell. He mentioned it one time. He said, they love their bench show dogs, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I was like, what's the deal with that? And to your point, he's like, if you have a car, he compared it to a vehicle. A vehicle that's got a misalignment, that's got a one tire bigger than in the back, and it's got, the toes all out of whack, and it staggers weird in the rear. It's not going to run right. It'll run, but it's going to be a whole lot harder on that car. That's right. The same thing with a foxhound. You got a dog that's built correctly, it's going to run just that much easier.
And the only thing that they've done wrong with them bench show dogs, that rule at 25 inch.
Yep.
They've let these things get 28 inches.
Right.
And that's why them show dogs don't take running like they used to take.
Right.
If you kept that dog just like, now Chris and them's got some good looking dogs. I mean,
yes, sir.
Don't get me wrong. And there's a lot of good looking dogs. But when you go to abusing that big a dog, he can move you. He might be able to take a 30-foot stride out through there and look good. But a big dog like that gets so big, he ain't going to be able to handle that but so long.
That's right.
Where if they knock them 2 inches off of them, it.
Yep. Get it back down just a little bit.
I'll just put it this way: there's not many of them national bench champions that wins the national field.
That's right.
And it ain't because they won't run. Because me and my brothers had a bunch of full-blooded show dogs. My dad had old Snyder's Ozark Pal back in the days, and he wasn't nothing but a show dog.
Right.
And we bred bitches, these running dogs off of them. Get a best looking running dog you can get, and then run them. I mean, they'll run. Them show dogs will run. Most of them don't bark a lot, but they'll run.
Right. You just got to make that right cross to correct the issues.
Yep. You just can't get it too much one way. Kind of like liquor bred or any kind of breeding. To me, you can go overboard. You go to inbreeding them and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you just get to doing things that we don't need to be doing, and most of the time it don't work.
Yeah, that's right. Well, now there's one I really want to hear about, and I don't know all the story behind this dog, but I sure would like to hear it. I know it was promoted really hard, and he's produced a lot of good dogs, and that was White Lightning Ray.
Yep. He was a dog. When I got Slinger died, and I don't know, I traveled all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be at field trials, and I'm pretty hard to please. I'm not just gonna look at something and breed to it just because you said it's a good dog. I'm pretty hard-headed,
Yeah.
And I watched that dog right there, and he grew up over here in Missouri, and Ray Tyrone actually bred them dogs.
Right.
But Ray always kept them dogs too heavy, and when he'd show up at a hunt, him and old Pilot both, they'd be 10 pounds too heavy because Ray loved them,
Right.
And we'd run down there in them hills and them rocks, and well, crap, what had happened to them.
But
them dogs was tough, and they'd get their name called.
Right.
But anyway, Kyle Eifert got a hold of White Lightning, and he took him down there, and Kyle's a good dog man too, and knows how to run one and gets one in shape, and he knows how to handle one.
Yep.
But anyway, I was at Ronnie McMillan's, I guess, down there, and I don't remember if it was I believe it was the Masters or one of them. It was a big hunt, and I'm talking about Vaden, Crisco, everybody that was somebody, B&B, anybody that had dogs was there.
Right.
Me, I thought I had a chance with some I had,
Right.
I'm not nobody, but I guess I could include in that list. But anyway, I thought I had something good enough to win that hunt. And the only thing kept that dog from winning that hunt was we run out of game. Because I can tell you, we sit there at that back wire, and you'd hear him come with that good clear mouth and see that coyote. He'd be like I was telling you about Tiny Cat here a while ago.
Right.
That dog would be 50 yards ahead of them dogs and just rolling now.
Nah.
And I made up my mind. It was almost like the day I seen Slinger up there and him a puppy.
Yeah.
I thought, man, I ain't had nothing like that, and I ain't never seen nothing like that since old Slinger.
Yeah.
And I just made up my mind that I was going to try to buy that dog. Phew, I realized when I bought him, I bought something, but and you know, a lot of people say, oh, he didn't produce and this and that, but heck, he had 2 Masters champions, and the dog died when he was 5 years old. So I mean, or
Right.
maybe 6. And you know, he is here when he died, but I mean, he produced a lot. Did he produce dogs better than him? I don't know. Like I
Right.
said, I won the Masters with a jip out of him,
Right.
and Kyle won one with another jip out of him. So I mean, a lot of stud dogs they breed right now that's out there, I'll bet you they ain't got 2 master champions.
That's right. That's
But
right.
he was a dog a lot like Geronimo. That had one of them good clear tenor mouths and could run the fire out of something.
Gotcha. And what was his breeding? You remember his breeding by chance?
Yeah, he was bred. Ray Tyrone bred him. He was let's see what the crap was his mom and daddy.
I forgot to look at it before I got on here.
Yeah,
I know that was one of the things I wanted to look at.
He's out of Missouri State Champions. What he's out of.
Yep, I'm
then-
sure I could dig it.
You wouldn't have to dig too far.
Right.
I should know it and do know it, but I can't.
I put you on the spot's what it was.
Yeah, you did me that way on that other one while ago with Geronimo, and I know his breeding better than myself.
Right.
Dang. I know his mama or daddy won's Missouri Open champion. And then, crap was his mommy. I don't know.
Let's see. Hang on, I might have you right here. There we go. He was an M's Chopper
Yep.
and a Diamond Ray.
Yep.
Yep.
That M's Chopper wasn't that Missouri Open champion or something?
Yep, something like that. It's hard to read it on the. That looks right. Yep, Missouri Open champion. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And that was a scooter dog.
Yep.
Yep.
He is just really lightning. Wasn't bred for a lot of speed. He was just a good Ray. Just he likes a good track running dog.
Right.
And them dogs was that way. They was just tough. Could run something. Big, strong dogs.
Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of slowing out. I don't know why, but I feel like that toughness has kind of started to kind of. And I may be wrong, but it just doesn't seem as prominent in dogs anymore.
No,
as
but
it used to
like
be.
we was talking a while ago, if you look at these dogs nowadays, and then you look at dogs like old Slinger and Slide back in them days, if you can't see the difference in the conformation,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
It's our own fault. We've just bred strictly for something that I call them cur dogs. That's
Yeah.
they just want something to run. Don't care if it can run something. They just want to be fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't care how. I want a fast one, but it matters how fast it can run something.
That's right.
But
That's right.
I want something to be able to run fast, but I want it to be able to run game fast.
That's it.
And a lot of these dogs, to me, if you look at them, they don't have no ear. Their nose,
Yep.
when you go over in bench show rules, well, they ain't none of them probably even need to get on the bench. But but that's what some of these big stud dogs, a lot of this breeding's went to.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and when they give away trucks and all this stuff we're doing nowadays, I guess you either got to get on board or stay out here and find a pretty dog. I don't know.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yep. But I want both. I want that pretty one and still want to be able to win that.
That's right. The Hounds Tales podcast would like to take a minute and talk about our friends over at Cajun Lights. When pleasure running at night or judging those nighttime field trials, you can put your trust in Cajun Lights. With the economical Cajun Bayou for the every now and then light user, the Cajun Micro for the nighttime feeds and around the house times, then the top level Cajun Blinder for those hardcore crossing getters at night. The Cajun Lights are headlamp style light that free up your hands for voice recorders or your GPS. They offer flood style lights in red, amber, and a white walking light. Then the top of the line 4-level main beam light. If you're having a hard time catching crossings at night, give the Cajun Light a try. And the red and amber setting to catch the game without distracting them. And with the easy flick of a switch, go back to your main beam light to catch your hounds in action and get those numbers. Visit their website today at CajunLights.com, and at the checkout, make sure you fill out the survey after your purchase and select Hounds Tales Podcast to receive 5% off your next purchase with Cajun Lights. Now, let's get back to the episode. That's right. That's what I keep telling everybody. I'm like, my goal, I want to dual champion something fierce. I want to dual champion something fierce. I've knocked the I've knocked the field champion notch off the belt. Now I need to get that dual champion, get that lined up.
Yep.
That's what I'm on to look for. Yeah, but that's that. So I'll say White Lightning Ray wasn't too awful long ago. What, about 10 years ago? Is that about right?
Yeah, he ain't even been that long, really. I've still got several bitches and stuff here out of him.
I thought he was, you know, when did he pass away? Do you remember? It was early or late teens, 20s.
Let me see. No, he ain't been dead that long.
Yeah, I didn't say. I can't. I always forget that 2020 is 5 years ago now.
Time flies, you know, but I'd say 2001 or something like that.
I got you.
But I know I still, you know, I got gyps and stuff here out of him. It's like 2 and 3 years old, so I mean, he had to be alive. Couldn't have been that long.
Right. Well, one more I got on the list I want to kind of hear some about that looks like y'all had a pretty good time with was Speed Sister.
Yep, that was my brother's gyp.
Okay.
Don't ask me her breeding either. She won the All-American with her in the wild down there. Up there on top of the mountain, we call it, where he lives. You wouldn't outrun her, but she was a nice gyp.
Now, what was her era? Like, what kind of years was she running in? Was that like a...
I'm trying to think when that was. Well, it had to be after 2001 because he won the All-American after I did.
Okay.
Well, he actually won it twice after I won it 3 times. So, I mean, he had another dog, and I can't even tell you that little male dog's name. But
them folks at the All-American don't like seeing you come down there, do they?
No, probably not. No, probably not.
I love it, though.
Yeah, Speed Sister that's why my brother, he'd watch these race horses. He'd come up with them names. Old Geronimo, you know, he named him from the Indian.
Yeah.
Old tough Geronimo.
I like that.
He could think of a good name. And he's dead and gone, but I can tell you right there's a man, you could ask him any kind of pedigree, and he wouldn't have to think nothing. He could just, I never did care like he did, you know.
Yeah.
When I got ready to breed it, I'd think a little more about it, but I didn't care if it was out of White Cloud and Yellow Mom.
Right.
If that thing run to suit me, that's what I wanted.
That's what you wanted.
He'd
that's right.
study them pedigrees, you know. He'd study them pedigrees. And I don't care. He could go back, if he is still alive, 10 generations, and he wouldn't need to look at nothing. He'd just bam, 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 bam.
Man, I don't know how people do it. I can't. I'm like you. I can't do it.
He could, I can promise you. My head's getting so full of them, I think my brain's too full.
They got scrambled up.
Yeah, I got to kick something out to put something back in. I think them there I've done kicked out.
I love it. So, is there any dogs that I've missed or that ought to get some recognition on here? I know there's probably a laundry list of dogs we could probably talk about and sit here for hours and hours and hours, but I didn't know if there was any that really stuck out to you that you.
Well, you know, back in the early days, and I keep bringing him up, but my daddy was a fox hunter, and he had a gyppy called Hoehner's Flying Jolly.
Okay.
And that was probably the best fox dog I ever seen in my life.
Really?
I mean, she'd run a red fox out here in the wild, be 20, 30 yards behind it just all night. Just dogs cut in on her and going out, and she'd just run their brains out. He spent a small fortune trying to buy something to run with her and never could.
No kidding.
And I mean, I've seen a lot of, just like that little tiny cat before it's in a pen. That thing right there, when she finished, that thing right there could fly. And outside dogs, I remember when we was younger, old Parvis's Highball and some of them mace that he had.
Right.
We was down there on the East Coast somewhere, and me and my brother, you know, they didn't think we was very smart, but we was out there checking these dogs out, and I watched that Highball dog right there was a dog could run too. That whole family was good dogs.
Right.
The Barefoot's Lemonade bitch, them Barefoot boys right there was a good gyp in the pen. I watched run, was a nice dog. But there's a bunch of dogs that, and you know, these younger hunters say, "Oh, them dogs wouldn't compete right now." Well, they ain't got a clue.
I was gonna say, I bet, man, I'd give any kind of money to be able to see some of them dogs come back and just wear their tails out up into some of these hunts.
Well, I told you I've had a bunch of them, and if I could bring that on the wall here alive, I'd trade everything I got.
Yep, yep, I get you. I got
And
you.
then pickups would be coming to my house. You believe what I'm telling you?
Go down there and hurt some feelings.
Yeah, and they're just naturally strong dogs. You know,
Right.
conditioning's all we know to do with a dog.
That's right.
And I mean, and that works.
Yep, yep, yep. But they got it in their heart and they got it in their soul. It's hard to. All you got to do is condition them and let them do the rest.
You know, that's the only secret with them. These guys that's breeding and doing all this, what they need to realize is, if you ain't got a dog that you breed that can take running, because that's the secret, is being able to condition him as many times as you can without hurting him. Right. And then you as a hunter, you got to be smart enough to know the difference. If you're hurting him or helping him, how many times you can run him.
That's right.
And you get the dog and the conditioning figured out, well, then you got a training pin. Look out. Here you come.
Here he comes.
Yes, sir.
Here he comes. That's right. That's right. So, I'm going to move on kind of to this next little section. I got in our notes here, we kind of briefly talked on it the other day, and I kind of want to hear this conversation. We're talking about the Masters, and kind of seems like you may have had some involvement on that on the creation, maybe, if I understood correctly.
Yes, sir. Probably nobody even knows about it, but
right.
Me and my brother and Freddie Walker was at Gina, Louisiana one night.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget I had slide or something, but I guess they call me a crybaby if I'm not winning. But I'd be winning the speed and drive, or my brother might have been. I don't remember.
Right.
And we was just sitting there, and Fred Walker, he's dead and gone, but a lot of people don't like him, but you got to give him credit because he went on with our thoughts,
Right.
And we just sat there and talked about what a man could do to try to, we was tired of going to hunts and win the speed and drive by 300 points, and you might be 10th.
Right.
And, and this was in pins. I said,
right.
Well, and my brother and me both have always just been, I like a dog. I want a complete dog, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But if I've got a race going on, I don't want a dog over here hunting and getting rewarded for it. I want him being in that race where that noise is going on.
Right, right.
And, a lot of times them dogs would go over there, they dodge the pressure and getting rewarded for it. And you'd win the hunt by 300 or 400 points. Well, I had a gyp mate, the bull ruler. I called her Martina.
Mm-hmm.
And I won the speed and drive in 3 or 4 major hunts, and she is never a champion.
Wow.
But, that kind of thing right there happens where...
Yeah.
And we just, we just sat there, and then Steve Ducote was from down there, and Steve's a good guy, too, and he had some input in it, too. I'm not taking credit because the other two fellers are dead, my brother and Freddie, and they was... Scott and Fred was really good friends, and talked a lot, and he let him have some of them action cat mates and stuff, and I don't know, he got down there and got to running them and realized that they was a different style dog than a lot of them they had, and he got behind this speed and drive stuff too, and I mean, every judge, if they went out there and judged the same way and had the same idea, I think any set of rules would work.
Right.
But it just takes one that don't think the same as the others, and one can run the whole deal,
That's right. That's right.
And I just wanted to set of rules, and not just me, him and Freddie both, but my brother, like I said, and I keep bringing him up, but anybody that knew him, that he was an amazing fox hunter. Now, you believe what I'm telling you, and he knew a lot about a dog.
Right.
And we bred to outrun him.
Right.
And, you go to a lot of them hunts, and that just didn't happen. So we need to figure out something to where it'd be not just me. I mean, a lot of people would do that, and a lot of people got to thinking about it. And I don't remember how exactly it all came, but that's where it started, right there.
Wow, that conversation
right there in the fire barrel, right there at Gina, Louisiana.
We're going to take a quick second and pause this episode and talk about our partners over at Elite Nutrition. Our hounds, they're athletes, guys. They give us their all each and every time that they're casted. Elite Nutrition offers an all-natural products to give your dogs the natural benefits they deserve. From the canine remove and all-natural wormer to the Electro Boost paste for an electrolyte replenishment, body fluid balance, and blood flow improvement. They also have products like Active Dog Powder for recovery and joint muscle support, Essential Dog Powder for daily vitamins and minerals, probiotics, prebiotics, and enzymes, and then the canine lactate powder for nursing dogs to help with milk supply. There are tons of other products for y'all to check out at CajunLights.com. Then click on the Elite Nutrition section to explore. When you go check out, only at CajunLights.com, use the code HTElite10 to receive 10% off your Elite Nutrition products. Again, that's HTELITE, the number 10, to receive 10% off Elite Nutrition products only via CajunLights.com. I've been using their products over the past couple months, and I could not be happier with the results. See for yourself today, and we want to thank Elite Nutrition for taking a step forward into this field trial sport. Now, let's get back to the episode, guys.
Yep.
Now, how long do you think that whole process was getting that? Can I get that up and going?
It didn't. I mean, a lot of these, and I like national people. I'm not talking about national or antis or anything else.
Right,
I'm just saying a lot of the old timers are just different hunters. They didn't believe in that kind of thing, and I think they fought it, and some of them still do. But
100%.
If you're going to run in the wild, the national rules is fine.
Right.
And I mean, they can be used out there still the wrong way.
Right.
If you go to a fox pen, that don't work good. You can't have a dog that dodges a race get paid the same as a man that's outrun you by 1,000 points.
I agree 100%.
And for as, I mean, I don't think, I'm trying to think when that was, because I'm sure that was Slinger and Little Bit, or maybe Slide. I think it was back in Slide's day, because that was before Slinger and them's time. Right. And by the time between Slide and Slinger, it was changed. The Masters had come up. So I mean, it was, I don't know. It didn't take that. I don't know. Probably a couple of years, maybe. They tried them and started working, and a lot of people liked it. And
yeah.
I still think it's a good deal. And
100%. And like I said, I think, like you said, the Nationals has its place in a lot of hunts, and there's a lot of things there's a lot of hunts that the National hunt and the organization, the rules, that suits those hunts better.
Yep.
But the Masters, to me, has just done such a phenomenal job of adapting.
Yep.
And it seems like they're not afraid to adapt. They see something, they make an adjustment, and it's for the better. And that's one of the biggest things that I applaud them on. The more and more I get into the sport is, how fast the Masters organization is willing to adapt and adjust. And then, from what it sounds like, that was kind of the basis of the startup of it was.
That's what we was trying to get at. Was making it fair for you going to a hunt and win the speed and drive by a bunch of points, and a dog go out there and get 20 points hunting and he beats you.
Right.
And I mean, you can have a dog win it by 2,000, and a national rule, if it was a national rule in the pen, that dog win hunting and trailing, he's going to beat you.
He could
have 10 hunting and 20 trailing and beat you.
And be done.
Now, which dog do you want to feed? Do you want to feed that one that gets 2,000 points, or you want to feed that one that dodged the race and got 20 hunting?
Right.
But on the other hand, I agree. You go to these hunts, and these guys, we're out of game. No, you're out of dog most of the time.
That's right.
I agree with a complete dog, but they've got it now to where you can give that dog a little bit of score. It don't make the difference in him winning or losing. But if you get in a tight situation, a dog that gets a good hunting score, to me, he's still the best dog, because that other one just laid there and waited.
Yep.
And I mean, you can reward him a little bit, and it don't make that. If he isn't in the top 10 speed and drive, he's not going to win the hunt.
Right. And I think and that's some of the guys with that mentality of, hunting dogs should be rewarded. That's kind of the way I agree with the way you're saying it, and that's what I try to emphasize to them. It's like the hunting dog will get rewarded, but he can't just be a hunting dog. He's got to be that all-around hound. Everybody's like, the national rules gives a better all-around hound. Not really.
No,
not really.
I mean, like I said, I've won the All-American 3 times. I've won the Masters 3 times.
Right.
And it's a big. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I mean, it takes a complete dog to win both of them.
Yes. Yeah.
But do I want a dog to go out here and just wait for a race? No.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And that's what a lot of these dogs, they say, oh, masters, that's all them dogs are, just a bunch of road running dogs. Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you win that speed and drive and get 27 or 3,000 points, I don't care how he's got it. He ain't just stood there in that road and stole
That's
it every
right.
time.
That's right. Yeah. Them cutting and swinging dogs may sneak into the top 10, but they're not going to win the hunt.
That's right.
They're not going to win the hunt.
Yep. He just kind of like me and you. I mean, like if I was going to breed the stud dog, I mean, before I ever breed the dog, of course, I raised a lot of them.
Right.
But just like Lightning and them, I mean, I watched what he did down there.
Yeah.
But I bring that dog home here. If I can't turn him loose in this fox pen of mine, and that dog go out there by himself, run, jump, and run a cow like I want one run, I'm not going to breed to him.
That's right.
And to me, that's the set of rules you need, is something that's going to make a dog be a complete dog.
Yep. I like it.
And
I'm sure that took I'm trying to think of the right phrase to use here. For y'all to get together and come up with that system and kind of go against the grain, I'm sure that took a set on all that were involved to present that and try to get that implemented and bring that into play. You know, that's not something that was probably taken very lightly.
No, a lot of people thought we was crazy. You know?
Right.
But that's kind of the way me and my brother was. We get something on our mind, it just kind of way it is.
Right.
We're pretty hard-headed, so I mean, and you know, to the best, back when them national rules was wrote, they was wrote for in the wild.
Yeah.
And in the wild, if all the judges do like they're supposed to do, them national rules, there's nothing wrong with national rules.
That's right.
You know, I mean, they don't have to change them. That's a good organization.
Yep.
I ain't got nothing against the nationals.
Right.
But when you go to a fox pen, there really, how much hunting is there? When you go to a good hunt, how much hunting is there?
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, you don't want a dog to go out here and win the All-American in a pen that's went over there and hunted and him get 100 HGA points when you're over here running a fire out of 50 dogs and he's over there trotting around a little old fox by himself.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I mean, like you said, I like the way you said it. You know, why would the dog that's avoiding the race, why should that dog go out there and be crowned a champion? You know, I can respect that.
If I'm judging, he won't, because if I can hear a pack of dogs, he can hear them.
That's right.
And if that dog's in there boiling, he ought not be hunting. I mean, if he's running a piece of game, that's one thing.
Right.
But if that dog ain't doing nothing but coming down that road, he's dodging a race.
Yeah, it's exactly
right.
I'm
sure ain't going to make him a champion if I've got the pencil, I can promise you.
That's right. That's right. Oh, man. So, you know, one more thing. You know, we kind of touched on a little bit earlier, too. And it seems like y'all have a pretty good eye for a dog. Obviously, y'all made numerous champions. Y'all got, you and your brother both have just legends of the sport. And you know, what is something, if you were going to be talking to somebody getting in, on what to look for? You know, we've kind of tiptoed around. We've kind of talked about it, mentioned some few things, but if you could talk to somebody and tell them, like, this is what I'm looking for in a hound when I'm watching, what are some of the traits that you're looking for that just spots, like, so for White Lightning, what did you see in White Lightning that you're like, yes, that dog has to come home with me?
Well, you got to watch a dog and have an eye for a dog. Mm-hmm. You know, there's certain things, and as far as just looking, you can't tell what kind of mouth he's got.
Right.
But that's one thing right there I really like. Am I going to breed the one that's slow that just because it's got a good mouth? No. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like the conformation. I mean, I like color. Mm-hmm. Color ain't a necessity.
Right.
But, I mean, that's kind of where I start.
Yep.
And then conformation, you know, I want a dog that's put together right. I like a nice chest and legs on him.
Right.
You know, an arch back, but I don't want him humpback and that kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, and you know, young and starting out, just like with puppies. I mean, get out there in the yard and watch them. You know, turn them loose and see which one's the most athletic. It's kind of like kids in school. You know, you can teach a kid how to be a good athlete, but you look out there and there's some of them out there that are fast already.
Right.
And these dogs are the same way, and you've got to be able to figure out which one just by watching them. You know, just the most athletic, kind of what I do. I I like something that's got a lot of athleticism
Gotcha.
to them.
I like that. It makes a lot of sense. All right, guys, one last interruption real quick on this episode. Want to take a second and give a big shout out to our friends at Low 10 Outfitters. Our apparel for not only the podcast but for the pin series for this year is up and live. If you visit low10outfitters.com, you can purchase your Hounds Tales podcast apparel. There'll be hats and t-shirts. And then if you're a part of the pin series or want to just help out with the series and go order some shirts, don't forget you can get those shirts too. It can be shipped directly to your door. Then if you're also looking for custom apparel for your kennel or just a dog in general, whatever you want, check their whole website out. There's plenty of stuff that they offer with great products. Thoroughly impressed with everything that I've gotten from them. I still have a hoodie that when I first got into this sport, I got, this has been 3 or 4 years ago now, and it has not lost any life in it yet. So be sure to check these guys out, low10outfitters.com, and thank y'all. I want to thank them for their partnership, and thank y'all for listening, guys. All right, let's get back to the episode. Makes a lot of sense.
And then, it gets back to that show deal. If them dogs is built like them point system is, a lot of them dogs are going to be able to move because they're made right.
Right. They got the right setup.
Yep. And then the other thing is, you can go back to the pedigrees. Don't go out here and breed some dog that you don't know nothing about just because your buddy did.
Right.
Watch them run.
Right.
Make sure that dog's because if you're going to run at your house, you probably want something bred that can run at your house.
Right.
Right. And I like to look at something that I know's got plenty of speed and ability, and then a good mouth. I love a good mouth. But
Yep. No, I like that. I think that I'm with you on the athleticism. That's just something that cannot be taught, cannot be trained. It cannot be ran into. You can work on teaching a dog to hold a line. You can teach a dog to do certain things, but an athletic ability is something that's natural from birth. And if it ain't got it, it ain't got it.
And you breed the mama and the daddy. If the mother and the daddy, it's kind of like athletes, I guess. It doesn't all work that way.
Right.
But I can turn these puppies loose that I raise out of a dog and jip maybe here that I've raised and had that's got all that. And I'm not telling you every one in that litter is going to make a good dog.
Right.
But I'll bet you 9 out of 10 of them will be able to move like I want them to move.
That's right. That's right.
Because it's in their traits. That's the way they're bred and put together.
Yep. We're going to have it. Yep. It's they can't all miss.
No.
They can't all miss.
My big catch there is when I do puppies, I've got that little 5.5 acre pen.
Mm-hmm.
When they get about 6 months old, I turn them out there.
Right.
And what we were saying there a while again, I'll run that side-by-side up the road, and I've had people, anything can run a side-by-side. Well, they're missing the point. It ain't just run the side-by-side. It's how they run, how they move chasing that side-by-side.
Right.
Right. And I can go out there and turn 10 puppies loose, and I'll bet you I can pick the best 2 out of them 10.
That's right.
And they'll end up, may not be able to run the game the best, but they'll be the best 2 in that pen for speed.
Whoever's the first 2 to the buggy when you get done, that's when you hit that break. That's the 2 that's probably going to be the ones you want.
Yep. But if they don't have that natural ability, you can't train natural ability.
That's right.
It's either they got it or they don't. And, that's where a lot of people fall behind. They don't know. I don't know. They'd rather just go buy one and think that they've got him because somebody told them that instead of just look with their own eyes.
Right. That was something I had to learn the hard. It took me a while to understand on the bench. I always thought that, these dogs that got up on their toes real nice and, had that nice tail and, had that posture, that confirmation that you're looking for. I'm like, when I was first getting into it, I was like, how do they make these dogs stand like that? And it took forever for me to click, and it was like, they're not making these dogs. Now, of course, you got to train the dogs to stand. Don't get me wrong.
That's right. And condition, they got they're athletes.
Right.
And, don't just run by yourself at home.
That's right.
You think you got a good pack of dogs, and I can tell kind of what I got at home. But run again the best there is, and then engage them and see where you're at with your breeding program.
That's it. That's it. You can feel real good about your dogs till you go run with other dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, my oldest brother, I'm always on him because he hunts in that pen that my other brother had before he died up there. And
Right.
he's always telling, how good they do. He
Yep.
goes them field trials and they don't do nothing. He said, I can't understand that. I said, well, it's easy to outrun yourself, but I said,
That's
when
it.
you go, and at home,
Yep. Yep. And I've always said, I've always accompanied that too. These dogs they get used to something. It's just to me, it's like a kid. You put a kid at a basketball team, and he practices with just those couple guys practicing. Then you go put him on against another team, it'll blow his mind.
Yeah.
Or a football team, you're running 5-on-5, right? You're putting a couple people together. You're putting a couple dogs together in a small pen. Then you go out there and put them with 350 dogs. It'll blow some of these dogs' mind.
And some dogs, I've had some dogs that was outstanding dogs that just never could figure a field trial out.
That's right.
They get the field trial, and then the old slide dog, he's just the opposite.
Right.
A lot of people wouldn't feed him if they just watched him run at home. But when you put that number on that joker, I'm telling you, he's as good as they've ever been.
Woke up a beast.
Yep. Yep. And that's and some dogs is just the opposite. I mean, I've had dogs that was outstanding dogs at home. You couldn't outrun them, but you go to a hunt, and they'd either run too hard, and they'd be run to death, or they just they was constantly relocating,
right?
And it's hard to score doing that.
That's right.
Instead of just settle down and run something, they was moving all the time.
Right. Yep, just wouldn't settle in. Makes sense.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're getting close here to the end, and I'm gonna really test you here with this closing topic before we get off of here. I've grown pretty fond of this question after I started asking it, and I thought I wanted to get your opinion on it. You've competed against a lot of dogs in your time, so in your opinion, the Mount Rushmore of dogs that you've competed against, so dogs that are not yours. It's now time for the Spotlight, presented by Cajun Lights. This is where each week we will recognize winners and other accomplishments across the field trial world. Now let's shine a light on these guys and these dogs, and let's get to this week's winners. All right, before we finish this thing up, guys, I hope y'all have enjoyed this. We want to touch on the Spotlight presented by Cajun Lights. One of the big ones for this weekend was the Hounds for Heroes was at Wickham's again this year. And this year was for a little girl named Skylar. And Skylar was involved in a senseless shooting that occurred in the community, and she's battling a huge, some huge battles in her life, trying to get back to normal. Of course, there's financial challenges that come with those kind of things. So, the Hounds for Hope and got together and put on this hunt at Wickham's, and they did a great job. Raised over $17,000 for Skylar and her family to help with medical bills and help give her back a normal life like any kid deserves. So the winner of the hunt was a dog named A. Johnson's Patch. The dog's out of Valentine's B and Shaunawitt's Juicy, and the hound's owner is Andy Johnson. So another just a prime example of how the houndsmen come together and raise a pile of money and for good causes. And I mean, I'm sure one or two, maybe a handful of the people know Miss Skylar and maybe know her family, but just the fact that the hound hunting community gets behind something like that without even having to know her like that, you know what I mean, is just a beautiful thing. So hats off to y'all, everybody that was involved putting it on, and everybody that was able to attend. So the second round of the Hounds Tales Pin Series was this weekend, and we made our trip to Hollywood. I'm pulling up the results now. I've got to give a big shout out to Mr. Chad Perkins with Rock Spring Kennels. He was the winner of the hunt with 506 GTP with a dog named Rock Spring Landman. Dogs out of Side of the Year champion B&B's Chrome and RS&T Southern Girl, again from Rock Spring Kennel. So congratulations to Mr. Chad. It was a great hunt. We had 15 judges show up. And y'all put on a really good job out there. I cannot thank y'all enough for everybody that was able to attend and show up and help. So big shout out to y'all. All right, last one is and before I get into this, actually, just a reminder, I am working on diligently as fast as I possibly can because I've slacked off and it's caught up to me. I'm working on the numbers for the remainder of the hunts for the series. So y'all bear with me, be patient. I've started making my calls back. I'm trying to work on them as fast as I can. My new position at work doesn't allow me to get on the phone like I used to be able to and call her in the middle of the day. So it's made things a lot tougher on getting these numbers out. So if y'all don't mind, just be patient with me. When you do get your numbers, I need them as fast as I possibly can. All right. So be sure to get your money in by the 2nd. I'm going to extend it a little bit because I did delay, and I wasn't very good about getting all the numbers back out. My mistake. So I'm going to extend the deadline, but it is a hard cutoff. If I don't have your money in my hands by the 2nd, your numbers are not good. That's just plain and simple. I'm not giving any kind of forgiveness, and I'm not getting a text from you on the 2nd saying, oh, I'll have it to you this week. This is your warning. You have till the 2nd to get your money in. And that's a hard cutoff. I got a waiting list. I got people begging for more. I got all kinds of stuff going on. So just know that is coming. And the last hunt for the weekend was I talked about it at the beginning of the episode, was the Osmond, and I hope I said that right, Osmond Fox Hunters Association hunt. I was up there in Illinois, and let's start with the Derby class. The best mouth was a hound named P. Ridge Pepper out of Tarwicks Royal, and I'm sorry, I always do that. It's Traywicks Royal and Traywicks Katie. The dogs from Eugene and Candy Wanky. God, I hope I said that right. If not, that's going to be really bad. And of course, here comes the classiest hound. I got to say it again. The classiest hound is Wanky's Peabody out of Summers John Wayne and Wanky's Lizzie, Eugene and Candy Wanky. The combination winner is a hound called E.T.'s Bite. Hound is out of Rocky Hill Wizard and Rocky Hill Hot Stuff from Elmer Early. And the Derby winner in the field was called a dog named Blanton's Marshall Dillon. Dogs out of Blanton's Cowboy and Leggett's Curly L from Blanton Boys Kennels. That wraps up everything for your Derby class. Now we'll move on to the all age. And we'll start again with the best mouth. And that dog's name is Blanton's. Oh, am I reading that right? Lord have mercy. That's it. Blanton's Cocaine Haiti. That dog's out of Champion Blanton Slinger and Sailor's Ellie Mae from Blanton Boy Kennels. The classiest hound number 131 was OQ's 6-Gun Sally from OQ's Pay Dirt and OQ's Hit and Run from Howard Owen. The combination winner and also second in the field was Kane's Remington. That dog's out of Champion Hartwick's Rocky Top and Hartwick's Virginia from Leanne Kane. And the field champion for this hunt is Loco's MJ. Dogs out of Loco's Bruno and Lanham's Sally. Lowell, Owen, and family. So congratulations to everybody that was able to place this weekend. Look forward to another good weekend. We will be at the Virginia State one day up there at Wickham's this weekend. So if y'all are up there, y'all be sure to come say hi. I'll try to make some rounds before I take a nap because I know I am. And shoot, I need one now. But we're going to go ahead and finish this episode out, so we're going to get y'all right back to it, and we'll get the rest of this episode ended. All right, thank y'all so much, guys. Here we go. What would be your top 4 dogs that you've competed against while you've been field trialing?
I probably done told you most of them tonight.
I figured you probably did.
Yeah, without you asking me.
Yep.
That Tiny Helms bitch right there is a good. I mean, that was about as good as I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
The old Boone Pac-Man dog. That was another dog that Mr. George had his number or whatever. They could run him down or whatever they wanted to do. But when I was competing with old Slide, that dog right there would be ahead of me or behind me right there every time. You know,
Ah.
he was a good one.
Right.
And like I said, in the wild, old Parvis's highball.
Okay.
And Bill Austin had a gyppy called Ginger. Probably was one of the best gyps I ever seen run. I can't even tell you how she's bred, but
Wow.
his name was Bill Austin from down there in the Carolinas. But she was about a 26 or 27 inch gyp and had a hooked tail.
Ah.
And that thing could just motivate them fox now.
That's a big old female too.
Yep. And I like the old Barefoot Lemonade gyp.
Yeah. I've heard that
But,
one.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen enough of them. Crap, I can just keep naming dogs. I'd sure love to have some of them back.
That's
the Red
right.
Gal gyp, J.W. Webb's was a nice gyp.
Okay. Yeah.
I like the little Ike dog that Paul West had. He was good for a while. The little Mighty Man dog was a pretty nice dog. You know,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
crap, about how many more you want?
Right. I'll say you talked about some producing dogs right there too.
Yep.
I know several of those dogs you mentioned, or a couple of those dogs you mentioned were very good producing dogs.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
And good dogs, you know, that's
Right.
them dogs that I'm telling you about. It didn't matter where they went. I mean, back then, the difference is it is now. There's so many hunts now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you don't want to go, and I mean, you can't hardly go nowhere where they're in pressure. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But back in them days, Slinger and Slide and Pac-Man and Tiny and them, when the All-American came up, 1,000 dogs.
Right.
Everybody was at the same hunt. It
Yep.
wasn't like there was another one going on in Virginia or somewhere the same week.
Right.
You know, you had to beat everybody.
That's right. Right.
And them type of dogs right there, like I said, I've seen them. Well, you go to the All-American and you watch a dog like that little Tiny gyp. I mean, I've seen her they'd be 70 dogs in a pack and her be 50 yards ahead of the pack.
Wow.
You know,
Just
same
out there
way
doing
with
it.
Lightning. When I bought the Lightning dog down there, I mean, you know, Rodney Crisco's a pretty good dog, man. Call him and ask him what he's seen there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We're saying the same thing, you know.
Yep.
And that's part of being successful. Don't be a blind eye of people's dogs. I mean, give a dog credit if it's got it coming.
That's right.
And I
That's
mean,
right.
I ain't
That's
telling
right.
you I've always had the best dogs in the world. There's a lot of them out there. I've had some that as good as anybody else has had, but
Right.
there's a lot of good dog man and a lot of good dogs, and everybody's got a training facility. I mean, it ain't no easy competition anymore anywhere you go.
It's tough. It's definitely tough, especially for the new guys getting in.
But them old dogs that I just mentioned, I'll promise you, if they was 2 years old, you could load them up and get your name called right now. These young bucks might not show it, but I wish the world I could do it because I'd show them.
Now, we said they'd be avoiding going to a different one.
Yeah, they wouldn't want to go. They'd go somewhere else.
That's right.
Yep.
Well, Mr. Hoehner, I definitely appreciate you coming on here. It really has been an honor. I'm glad we were finally able to line up our schedules good to make this thing work, and I appreciate you taking the time and coming on here. It was truly an honor, sir.
I sure appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Keep up the good work. I think everybody would be interested in the work you're doing.
I appreciate that a lot. I really do, and I really do mean that a lot. Is there anybody you want to thank or give a shout out to before we get off of here?
The good Lord, I'd like to thank Him because without Him, I wouldn't be nothing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If we
Absolutely.
don't get nothing else right in this world, we need to be right with Him.
That's right. 100%.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, everybody out there listening, I sure hope y'all enjoyed it. I know this has been a great one. I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and we'll definitely catch y'all on the next one. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for listening, and like always, happy hunting.